Hello, in this video I'm going to explain some quick tips for content creators who use Scrivener. Just in case you're brand new to Scrivener, I'll just explain how to add files, folders and images. So click anywhere in your binder, right click, add new text or new folder, or you can use the add button here to add a new text or a new folder. So I'll add a new text. I'm going to paste some text in there. I'm going to convert the first paragraph to the title, and the headlines I'm going to have as headings 1 and heading 2. You can add an image if you want to. I never add images in Scrivener. I just use it for writing text, but you can add an image. Just press the Enter key to make a new line, and then the Insert, Image from File. Navigate to wherever you put your image, open, and there's your image. Now, if you want to resize the image, right click and click Scale Image, and you can drag these sliders to scale the image. Okay. Now, to move the files and folders about, you just drag them. You can drag them wherever you want. And you can drag folders in the same way. Well, now you've got the content in your Scrivener binder, we can get on to learning these extra tips. So, first of all, we've got the split screen. So just click this little button here, and then put your cursor in one of the screens and choose any page you want to view. Close that. Now, there's also a quick reference button. So if you pick a page and just drag it from your Scrivener binder into the quick reference button, you get this little pop-up, which saves you opening 2 tabs. Now you can show or hide the binder and the inspector. To hide the binder, click this View, Hide Binder, Show Binder, and the inspector is over here. Using Scrivener bookmarks. In the inspector, there's a tab called Bookmarks. And you can drag any file or folder or web page URL into this bookmarks area. So if I shrink my screen in a bit, I can drag a folder, and now that folder's been bookmarked. I can drag an individual file. That file's been bookmarked. I can drag web pages. So if I want to access this web page later, just drag the URL in here. And then I've got that information later on, so I don't forget it. Once you've dragged things into your bookmarks section, you can just double click to open them. There's also tools called Snapshot, Compare and Rollback. So if you look at this little camera, you can make a snapshot of this page, and then you can edit that page. So if I click this plus sign, it'll make a snapshot of this page. I can then edit the page, and I've got this snapshot. It's like a little backup that I can roll back to later if I need to. Now, the Corkboard, Outliner and Scrivenings. If we go up one level, so we can see these the different files inside that folder. You won't see with Corkboard. Click this view mode, Corkboard. You can't see anything. But if you go to a folder that contains something, it'll show you a different view of these files inside that folder. There's also this one, which is just a different view of the files inside there. And this is the Scrivenings button. And what that does, it combines all the things inside that folder. So if we click a single file, that's just showing you one file. But if you click the parent folder, click Scrivenings, and it'll show you all of the files inside that folder. It just adds them all together, stacks them one on top of another. Scaling the text. Now, quite often, I'm in my 60s, and the text is too small. So if we go to 100%, now that's too small for me. But rather than messing about changing the text size, I just change the zoom size here. Now, I often like to make a separate backup. Scrivener will back up your Scrivener project every time you close it. But sometimes you might want to back up your project. So if you go File, Backup, you can back up to, and that will let you back up your Scrivener project to somewhere that you can save that project so that you don't make any big mistakes. Or if you do make any big mistakes, you've saved the project and you can reinstall it. Now, I use a Mac computer, and it's always best to use, like these bookmarks. When you're using the bookmarks, you're not importing the actual documents in here, you're just importing what are called aliases. And you can add an alias to any file or folder by, you select the folder or the file, and you go to File, Make Alias. And that makes this thing, so we can see it there. You can see this little arrow. That tells you it's an alias that will link to the original document. And the reason you make aliases is so that you don't have to have duplicate documents, but you can open up any file or folder by clicking the alias. And you can just drag an alias into any folder that you're using. And it just makes it so that you don't have to make duplicate documents. But that's how you make aliases. Cleaning up the screen to make it easier to write long documents. Now, there's all sorts of ways you can do it. You can click this view to hide the binder, or you've got different layouts. But what I like to do, I like to keep this edit screen as clean as I can when I'm writing a long document. So I click this Compose button, which opens this, and I've now got more options. I can focus on the paragraph that I'm writing. So as I write any paragraph, that paragraph will be highlighted. I've got more options down here. I can change the position of the paper, if that's convenient. I can change the text zoom size. And to escape, all you need to do is hover over the bottom and click this button, or click the escape key on your keyboard. Just an extra tip, I like to navigate using the keys on the keyboard rather than having to move my mouse all over the page. And so if you want to jump one word forward, I press, on a Mac, it's the Alt key and the arrow key. If I want to jump to the start of the line, I can press Command and the arrow keys to start or finish of the line. And if I want to go to the beginning of the document, I can press Command and go to up key or down key to go to the start or the end of the document. Well, that's it for this video. I wanted to keep it short, but I wanted to give you a few useful tips that help you just get around Scrivener if you're fairly new to it. Scrivener is absolutely fantastic. It's ideal for people who write a lot of content. If you don't write much content, then use whichever text editor you want to use. But if you do write an awful lot of content, Scrivener is well worth a try. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.